name's Sia. I'm a chef, and I'm also an author. And I just published my first cookbook. It's called Comfort Food Without Borders, Volume 1, From Appetizers to Pasta. I have to give you a little bit of background about my upbringing. I learned to cook at the age of 6 from my grandmother, and I fell in love with it immediately, and it's been my life's passion, food. I was trained by Master Chef Jean-Louis Paladin and then Michel Richard. And I've been in the business for 28 years, and I've worked at some of the country's most prestigious restaurants, like Jean-Louis at the Watergate in Washington, D.C., and Citronelle, also in Washington, D.C., Old Angler's Inn, also in Washington, D.C., and Normandy Farm, also in Washington, D.C., and Antrim 1844, and that's in Baltimore. And after 20-some years, 5 years ago, I came to Houston, and I opened my own restaurant called Two Saints Restaurant. And June of last year, I sold my restaurant and decided to retire. So basically, I decided now it's time to take it easy, and that lasted about 3 months. And then after that, I decided, you know what? I need something to do. I need a reason to wake up in the morning. So I started writing a book. And the first one was published in December. The second one is going to be published at the end of spring. It's called The Main Course. And the third one will be published in December of this year. And it will be called Happy Ending. Guess what that's about? Desserts!
What could I find in your books? Like, where origins?
Yes. Well, the book is really about my philosophy on food. And my belief is that every culture has its own comfort food. And that's what I've tried to emphasize in my cooking throughout my career. So this book basically borrows elements, ingredients, and techniques from every food culture, be it Asian influences, African, Arab, Middle Eastern, Yiddish, European, Scandinavian, American, South American, even Australian. So I actually, throughout my career, I've had a chance to travel around the world, so I've absorbed myself in every culture. So basically what I've done is borrow all of those flavors and techniques and ingredients to recreate comfort foods that everyone is familiar with. But by going to the extra step of actually incorporating all of those cultures, I've come up with recipes that take you back to what food tasted like when you were a kid, when you were young, when you were tasting things for the first time. Because that's the hardest thing to replicate, is tasting something for the very first time. For instance, this dish of mine here, which I call truffle ham and cheese on a stick, it's really my attempt to recreate how the first ham and cheese sandwich that you tasted felt like and tasted like. So that's really what this is about. But to do that, I actually used Black Forest ham from Germany, truffles from Italy, Emmental cheese from France, Arbol chilies from South America, Peru, wasabi from Japan, honey mustard from Canada. So all of those elements come together in such a way that you don't taste those elements. All you taste like is the first ham and cheese sandwich you ever tasted. That's the whole point.
It's magic.
Exactly. It's magic.
So, from all your experiences, which one has stuck with you the most?
My mentors. Jean-Louis Paladin, may he rest in peace, was my first mentor. And I was a journalism major. I was thinking about I literally, out of college, I came to Washington, D.C. looking to join Channel 4 News as a copywriter. And a chance meeting where Jean-Louis Paladin actually convinced me to go work for him. And he basically at the time was opening up his restaurant, Jean-Louis, at the Watergate Hotel. So that was my entree to this profession as a career. And I owe my entire livelihood to Jean-Louis because he made me realize how pleasing people with food is what makes the world go round. And that is the best experience I've ever had.
Fun stuff. You gotta do fun stuff.
Oh,
And fun stuff. No, I'm kidding.
are you missing me?
He's a director, so.
We've been brought up with the same passion.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for having me.
My
And it's
pleasure. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Look, slaves.